let's find our seat, crossing our legs, getting into a comfortable sitting position so that we can just check in with our bodies. You're going to sit down, Banjo, because at the moment you're just standing in the middle of the mat. Come here, kitty, come here. Hey. All right, so lengthening your spine, softening your shoulder, bringing your belly in, heart and chest are open, resting your hands on your knees. And at this point, you can choose to close your eyes gently, or maybe just soften your gaze as you look down to the floor. And as always, we'll start off with our 3 deep breaths and just do a little check-in of the body. So try and be really still in this moment and try not to be distracted by what's going on the screen. So literally just closing those eyes, breathing in deeply through the nose and out through the mouth. Breathing in through the nose. This time breathing out of the nose. Breathing in and breathing out. Bringing our hands together to rest in front of our hearts. And let's bow to each other. The goodness in me sees and honors the goodness in you. Namaste. So thank you as always for joining me again today. So as I say, we're going to do some warm-ups. We're going to do some sun salutations. And then we're going to explore some of our alphabet A to Z with these Enchanted Wonders cards. We've used them, I think, at school before. Each card has a different letter of the alphabet and a different pose, yoga pose for us to explore. I'll come closer to the camera when we're doing the pose so that you can see the cards too. But first of all, I thought we would do our warm-ups on our backs today because we always do them sitting, so we can try something slightly different. We often end the class on our backs. Today, we're going to start the class on our backs. So come into L sitting position, flex your toes, legs are long, back is tall, and then imagine you're taking hold of that invisible thread or ribbon or rope and slowly, slowly start to lower yourself down. Feel your vertebrae, your backbones going down slowly, slowly, one at a time until we come into our full Shavasana. Let your feet just flop out to the side, back of your hands on the floor. And as we lay here, we'll just do a little scan, an X-ray of the body. Check in with how each part feels. So notice the heaviness of the feet, the heels of the feet on the floor, the legs all loose and floppy like spaghetti on a plate. The pelvis, your hips might feel a little heavy. Your lower back, notice the little arch in your lower back. And then maybe you notice the back of your rib cage on the floor. Place your hands on your belly. And as we breathe in, notice the belly gently rises. And as we breathe out, the belly gently softens back down. Breathing in, the belly rises. Breathing out, the belly softens down. Then sliding the hands up to the rib cage. Maybe the tips of the fingers are pressed together, touching together in the front of the rib cage. So we should all be lying down on our backs at this point. And as we breathe in, the rib cage expands. Maybe the fingers come slightly apart. And as we breathe out, the rib cage contracts, come back together, and the fingers come back together. Breathe in deeply, fill those ribs as the lungs fill with air. And breathe out as we exhale all the air out of the lungs. Notice then placing the back of the hands back on the floor, the arms all floppy and spaghetti-like too. The back of the head feels heavy as it rests on the floor. And then just soften the face. Maybe a gentle smile on the lips and on the eyes. So we just soften the face, soften the cheeks, the forehead. And just for a moment, just let the whole body be in this lovely restful pose. Then we're going to wiggle the fingers and the toes, wiggle the fingers and the toes. Start to slide the heels towards your sitting bones and bring your knees right into your chest. Give yourself a big hug. And let's have a little rock from side to side as we massage our backs against the floor. So gentle rock of the body from side to side. Then we're going to keep one knee in towards the chest. So I've taken my hands just around my shin. Keep one leg in towards the chest and the other one we're going to lift up to the sky. And we're going to point and flex that one that's pointed up to the sky. So just pointing and flexing those feet, pointing and flexing. And then making little circular movements with the feet. So getting that movement into the ankles, pointing and flexing. Good. Then the knee that we're hugging into the chest, we're going to place that foot down on the floor. And with the leg pointed up to the sky, we're going to point that toe. And imagine on the tip of your toe, you've got a pencil or a Sharpie. And we're going to draw a circle on the ceiling as we move the whole leg. 3 circles in one direction. Good, you're doing excellently. And 3 circles in the other direction. Cat the banjo's watching the feet go around, wondering what on earth is going on. And then place that foot back down to the floor. Let's bring that knee into the chest now. And the other one, give them a hug and have a little rock from side to side. Now the leg that was pointed up to the ceiling, we're going to place that foot down on the floor. And we're going to extend the other leg up. Now, I quite like to just hold my leg up there itself, but if it feels too much, you can always take your hands behind your thigh just to hold the leg up there and pointing and flexing that foot. So you can feel all the muscles in the leg starting to wake up, and then 3 circular movements of the foot in one direction and 3 circles in the other direction. And then we're going to draw the circles. So pointing the foot, drawing the circle. So moving the whole leg as we do 3 circles in one direction and 3 circles in the other direction. There we go. Once you've done, bring that knee into the chest, bring the other one in and give them a little squeeze. Hug, hug, hug. Breathe in. And as we breathe out, let's see if we can lift our nose to our knees. Lift your nose to your knees and squeeze, squeeze, squeeze yourself into a tiny little ball. Good. Then place the head and shoulders back down on the floor. Place the feet down on the floor. Take your arms out to the side of your body like we do our T-bar arms or our cactus arms. So the arms are coming out from the shoulders. Maybe the back of your palms are on the floor or the arms are coming straight out from the shoulders. And with the feet and the legs together, we're going to let our knees gently drop over one side. And then we're going to maybe take our head to look in the opposite direction. So my knees are over to the right and my head is over to the left. And then I come back to the center, lift the head, lift the legs. Make sure that your hips are back on the floor, your knees and your feet are together, and then let both hips drop over to the other side, both knees drop over to the other side. You can either look up at the ceiling or look over in the opposite direction. And then come back to the center. And this time we're going to roll ourselves back and forth. So maybe place one ankle over the other, cross your ankles. You could either hold on to the back of the knees and then rocking forward and back. Maybe a couple of times, forward and back, and then come up into sitting. All right, well done. I wonder if you can roll forward and back and lift yourself all the way up into standing. Do you think we can do that? Let's give it a go. Backwards and all the way up. I wonder if anyone was able to do it without using their hands. I had to use my hands. Did you? Got all the way up? Well done. And all the way into standing. Excellent. Right. Looks like you guys want to do a bit of jumping around there. Maybe we will. Before we do our sun salutation, how about we do 5 jumping jacks? Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Fooled ya. I said we'd do 5, but we ended up doing 10. All right, now that we've got our heart beating, let's give our chest a little tap. Tapping, tapping, tapping. And then let's give the arms a bit of a shake, shake, shake. Bring the legs together, but bend the knees. Bend the knees and just allow the arms to swing from side to side. Swinging. Maybe your hands gently tap the back of the body, the lower part of the body, swinging, swinging. And then the arms just become more still. Bending the knees, place your hands onto your knees. And let's make little circular movements with our knees. 3 times in one direction, 3 times in the other direction. Now coming into standing, place your hands on your hips. This time there's no bend in the knees, the legs are long. Well, a little bend in the knees. And we're just going to circle the hips like we're hula hooping. 3 times in one direction, 3 times in the other direction. Oh, excellent hula hooping movements going on there. Excellent. All right, we are ready for sun salutation. So if you've got socks on, let's come into a little balance as we take one sock off and balancing again as we take the other sock off. Remember, keep them near your mat so that when we do our Shavasana at the end, we've got some socks to keep our feet warm. Right, come to the front of your mats or the front of your space into mountain pose. Both feet are connected to the floor. The arms are down by the side of the body. Take a deep breath in. And as we breathe out, hands come together in front of the heart. Breathing in as we lift those arms up to the sky. Look up at your ceiling. And then hands back together. Bring them down the midline of your body. Fold from your waist as your hands dive down towards the floor. Maybe bend your knees and give your toes a little tickle. And then place your hands, one on either side of each foot, and take a big step back into our runner's lunge. Back knee down and look straight ahead. Press both hands into the floor. Take the other foot back into plank position. And then lower our knees, our chest and our chin. Inhale as we glide forward into a baby cobra. Keep those elbows in. Keep the feet on the floor. And then tuck your toes under and lift the hips up high into your downward dog. Let's look at those feet or your knees or maybe even your belly button. So the leg we step back, we're going to lift up again towards the sky and step it all the way forward back to between the hands. Back knee on the floor, runner's lunge, look straight ahead. Bring the back leg forward to meet the front leg. And this time, like we're scooping up some water, we're going to lift those arms up to the sky and breathe out as we bring them back down. Let's see everyone in mountain pose. Still, strong mountains. Both feet on the floor, both arms by your side. Deep breath in, full breath out. Let's take one hand in front of us. And with the other hand, we're going to trace the fingers as we breathe in and out. 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 Good. 5 lovely deep breaths so that we're ready to do sun salutation on the other side. So again, back to the front of our mats or the front of our space. Mountain pose. Deep breath in. Breathe out, hands come together in front of the heart. Breathe in as we lift them up and look up at the sky. Breathe out as we fold forward from the waist, the hands dive down. Bend your knees and tickle your toes. And then place your hands on either side of the feet, step back with the other leg. Back knee on the floor, runner's lunge. Take the other foot back to meet it in our plank position. Make a slide shape with your body, push-up pose. Everyone there? Good, lower your knees, your chest and your chin. Inhale as we glide forward, elbows in, pressing gently onto the hands, looking up. And then take the body back into downward dog. Lift those hips up, look at your feet, making a triangle shape with the body. Press your hands into the floor, press your feet into the floor. Lift up the leg that you step back, step it all the way forward. Back knee on the floor, look straight ahead. Bring the other leg forward to meet it. And again, like we're scooping up some water with your hands, stretch your arms up to the sky and bring your hands down to your side. Again, let's see you in your mountain pose. This time, we're going to use our fingers as counters. We breathe in for 5 and out for 5. In and out. And you can just feel your heartbeat straight after the sun salutation. It can be going really fast as we energize, which is great. And then we like to just settle it down again as we move and prepare for our poses. So I'll bring the cards forward so we can see what we've got. These are lovely, called Enchanted Wonders. A friend of mine made these cards and they're used by children all over. So this one is A for awesome aeroplane. What I might do is show you 6 cards and then we can think of how we could sequence them together so that we do the standing poses first, the sitting poses next, the lying poses next. Okay, so we've got A for aeroplane. You've got to remember them as well. We've got B for butterfly pose. Beautiful butterflies. We've got C for cat and cow. We've got D for, you guessed it, downward dog. We've got E for elephant, another standing pose, elephant. And we've got F for famous frog, or it could even be a friendly frog. And maybe we'll do one more, G for gate, gate pose, glorious gate. Right, so we'll start with those. Let's come back to our mats and stay standing. So we can do our 2 standing poses, which were aeroplane and elephant. Maybe we'll start with the elephant. So bend the knees and make yourself really heavy like an elephant would be. I always like to take one hand and take it through the legs so you give yourself a little tail at the back. And with the other hand, we make a trunk and we stomp, stomp, stomp. And then imagine we're down at some watering hole and we lean all the way forward and we suck up some water with the trunk. And then maybe we come up and bend the other way as we spray our backs, cooling ourselves down in the African heat. And then that hand goes down between the legs, give yourself a little tail, and the other one becomes your trunk. And we stomp, 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 and then bending forward, sucking up some water again, and spraying our backs. So there we go. E for enchanted elephant. And now we're going to imagine we are flying. Ooh, I wonder if we can just take a little moment to think, if we could fly somewhere right now, where would it be? Maybe somewhere where you've been on a holiday before. I think I would like to fly to South Africa to go and see some of my family and friends. At the end, we'll check in and I'll ask all of you where you would fly to. So, mountain pose. Take your arms out to the side like wings. Okay, and then we're going to hinge forward from the waist with the arms out to the side, and you might just stay like this. Or maybe you're feeling courageous and you're going to take one foot back behind you. Remember, you can keep it on the floor and play with lifting it up and putting it down, lifting it up and maybe holding it there. And then maybe we're going to just flap those wings a few times and then change sides. So bringing the arms out, take the other foot back. Always just starting with the foot on the floor. Find your balance. Find a focal point to concentrate on. Just one little point that's not moving. And when you feel really still in your bodies, maybe you lift the foot up and take it down. Maybe lifting it up and holding it a little longer. And bringing it down. And let's flap those wings again. Flap the wings. Come into mountain pose. Take your chin to your chest and start to roll your bodies forward. Rolling, 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 rolling. All the way into our forward bend. And when you've gone far enough and it feels like you've really got a tight stretch on the back of your legs, your hamstrings, you're going to bend those knees and keep on bending, coming all the way down into our squat position. So we're balancing on our toes now. Now what I find really helps me here is if I bring my hands together and really push them together in front of my heart. Push, 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 push. But I know for a lot of people, sitting like this way can be quite challenging or quite uncomfortable even. So let's lower ourselves down. All right, so we've got a few sitting ones. We've got the butterfly and the frog, which have similar sort of legs. We've got the cat, the cow, the downward dog, and then the gate. So how about we start with these two? So the butterfly, we know. So bring the soles of your feet together, the bottom of your feet together. And first of all, just hold on to just above your ankles. And maybe we just do a little bit of side to side. Going all the way to the side and all the way to the other side. Getting a little swing going here, like a little pendulum. Moving from side to side. And then we're going to take the feet, we're going to open up the feet. We're going to use our thumbs and we're going to massage into our feet. Try and keep the backs nice and long here. Massage into the feet. Massage, massage. Feels really good getting into the toes. And then you might round your back and just let your head hang heavy and your neck be long. You'll feel this really increases the stretch on the inside of the legs. And then hands back to the ankles and let's just flap those butterfly wings. Just flapping the butterfly wings here. Flap, flap, flap. Bring them together. And then for our frog pose, a bit like the squat we just did, but this time the feet are flat on the floor. So step the feet quite wide apart. Feet are flat on the floor. I'm going to bring this camera a little closer because I feel like we're quite far away from each other. Okay, so feet are flat on the floor, big space between the knees, and maybe you can come into this kind of a squat. I like to use my elbows and push my knees apart as I bring my hands together. Anya, I don't know if you're even still there, but the camera can't see you anymore. There she is. All right, so in the squat, And then we're going to leap like frogs. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Rabbit. Good. And again, rabbit. And you might continue to do a few more jumps. Little jumping frogs, or if it feels too much on the knees, you can just stay like this. Still getting a good stretch on the inside of the legs. Okay, excellent. From here, let's come into all fours. So knees on the floor underneath the hips, hands on the floor underneath the shoulders. And you guessed it, we're going to do a bit of cat, cow, downward dog. We're going to add a wolf in there too, all right? And let's do some of the sounds. I can't hear you, but you can do them at home. We're going to round our backs, angry cats, meow. We're going to tuck the tailbone up to the sky and look straight ahead for our cow, moo. We're going to tuck the toes under and lift up into our downward dog. Look at your feet. Ruff, 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 ruff. And then we're going to glide the body forward towards the hands. Lower the hips down to the floor. Maybe untuck your toes, press your feet into the floor and lift the legs up as we howl at the full moon tonight. Oh. And then place the knees on the floor. Bring your toes together and sink back into your hibernating polar bear or your hibernating bear. And just let the body settle for a moment. So tonight, if you look outside and it's not too cloudy, you'll see a wonderful full moon up in the sky. Let's walk the hands back towards the knees. And the last pose we're going to do is the gate pose. So for this one, let's come up onto the knees. Now I wonder where your gate, I wonder what your gate might be protecting, or is it the gate to your house, or maybe the gate to your heart, or maybe a gate to a magical fantasy world. So you can place your gate anywhere you like. We're going to take one foot out to the side. Have your toes facing forward. This leg is nice and straight. The opposite arm, we're going to lift up to the sky. And you can stay like that. Or you might like to fold towards the outstretched leg. Oh, that's nice. Got a partner gait going on there. And then we're going to bring both hands out to the side, palms facing down. And we're going to take that hand down to the floor and create the hands one on top of each other here. Now here, you might want to press this hand right down into the floor and maybe lift the back leg up, opening up that gate. And let's bring it back, arms in line, and slide the knees back together and bring the arms down. Right, gate on the other side. Stretch the leg out. This leg stays strong and straight. Toes are pointing forward. First of all, we just find that lovely line in the body. Then we lift the opposite arm. And maybe you stay there. Sometimes you can get a little cramp in your legs. I feel a little cramp in my side of my hip here. So maybe you fold over to the side, or maybe your body's telling you just to keep your arm up stretched. Lovely. Remember, in yoga, we always listen to our bodies and do what we feel we need in that moment. Bring the arms out to the side, both palms facing down. Taking the opposite hand down to the floor, and then try and get your arms in line with each other. Beautiful. And from here, we lift that top leg, lifting, opening up the gate. And then lower the legs, slide the knees together, lower the arms, and come back down. And at this point, I best check the time, because you know me, I get carried away and then I forget where we are. And oh, look at the time. But as I went to find the time, I came across this perfect pose to end on, which is happy baby. H for happy baby pose. So let's come onto our mats again. The same way we came down in the beginning. L sitting, take your invisible rope, lower yourself, lower, 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 lower. And bring those knees in towards your armpits. Take your arms in the middle of the legs and then either hold the inside of your feet or the outside of your feet. Bring the knees in towards the armpits. The feet are flexed, pointing up to the ceiling. And you might have a little gentle rock from side to side in your happy baby. Or maybe you like to just be nice and still in this happy baby pose. And imagining we are really happy babies. We're just going to put a big smile on our cheeks. Think of something that makes you feel really happy. Think of that thing that makes you feel super happy in this world. And then gently letting go of the feet, placing the feet on the floor, sliding your heels away. Let your feet flop out to the side, back of your hands on the floor, and we'll end like we began in our relaxation Shavasana pose. So when we started with our little scan from the tips of our toes to the top of our head. This time, we'll just do a little scan over the body from the top of the head down to the tip of the toes. So just notice how the back of the head feels on the floor. Maybe the weight of the head feels quite heavy. But then see if you can bring a softness into the face. Softening the face. So just, if you're biting your teeth together, just release the teeth. Maybe give the jaw a gentle wiggle. Softening your cheeks and your eyes with a little smile. Noticing your neck and throat area. Your shoulders. Notice all the way down the arms, the upper arms, elbows, lower arms, the back of the hands, the insides of your hands, and all your 10 fingers. Just noticing how the arms and hands feel in this moment. You might feel some hot or some cold or some tingling, some pulsating. You might not feel anything at all, and that's fine too. Now notice your chest area. The whole upper body, the rib cage, the belly. Again, maybe we just feel a little movement with the breath. As we breathe in, the belly gently rises. As we breathe out, the jelly belly gently lowers. As we breathe in, the rib cage gently expands, gets bigger. And as we breathe out, the rib cage comes back together, contracts. As we breathe in, the lungs fill with air, new, fresh oxygen. And as we breathe out, we squeeze all that stale air, the carbon dioxide out of the lungs. Notice the hips, the pelvis, the lower part of your back, just resting on the floor, almost like an anchor of a ship, just keeping us stable and still. And then the legs, the upper part of the legs, the knees, the lower legs. Maybe notice the back of the feet, the heels on the floor, and the toes and feet just softening and flopping out to the side. I always like to imagine I'm a little blob of butter or ghee or coconut oil or something on maybe a piece of toast or a pancake or a waffle. And I'm just melting, melting, melting with my relaxation. Just really letting go and enjoying this moment of peace and still. I'm always so impressed when I look over at the boxes of how still everyone is in their relaxations. It's really good. The more still we can be in this relaxation pose, the more the body benefits deeply from all those movements we've explored. And now, just allowing it to rest and recover. So very gently wiggling the fingers, wiggling the toes. Now we slowly start to slide the heels in towards the sitting bones. We bring the knees in towards the chest and give ourselves a little bit of a hug. Gentle rock from side to side. Little rock from side to side. Place both feet down on the floor. Let the knees drop over to one side and allow the whole body to follow this movement. Make a little pillow with your hands. Take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then press your hands into the floor and slowly roll yourselves up. Coming back into that comfortable sitting position we started in, but this time we're going to swap the legs so that the other one's in front. And finish off with our deep breath. So resting your hands on your knees, back is long, belly's in. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in deeply and exhaling completely. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. And first we bow to ourselves. Well done for making it to class today, for taking this time out of your day to exercise your bodies, to quieten your minds, to check in with how you're feeling. And then we bow to each other and all other beings on the planet, all sentient beings. The goodness in me sees and honors the goodness in you. Namaste. Namaste. Thank you for joining me again today. That was lovely. I'm going to come over now and finish the recording.